But for us, we are many small people. Individually, you cannot have your voice heard. And therefore, you're saying, let us have someone there that can also be able to advise from our point of view.
Yes.
You talked about the 30%. We don't have a problem with paying the corporate tax, yeah? But we also want to know, what do you expect me to do as I pay the corporate tax? Because, for example, we will do our books.
Yes.
And I'll take to the auditor. The auditor is the person that knows how I should calculate my tax. That's what I'm expecting. And the auditor will look at my books and say, this is the amount of tax you're supposed to pay. But what is happening after, because our system will say your books can be reviewed between a period of 7 years.
Yes.
So they will come after 7 years and they are going to check on what you've been submitting.
Yes.
And remember, you're given the auditor to do the calculations for you. So they'll say, whatever you submitted is not the right thing. And therefore, they are going to give what they think is the right thing.
Yes.
My question is, why doesn't the government certify auditors that they will know exactly what they want?
So up to now, even when we're talking about this, the auditors that you're essentially using then to help you even come up with proper calculations in your tax payments, they're not certified by the government.
They're not certified by KRA.
They're not certified by KRA.
They're not certified by KRA.
To the point that if they give you the wrong calculation, you essentially can't take them anywhere and say that you're the one who sent them to us and these are certified.
You know, we have a very bad culture in this country. And our country, I don't know when we are going to remove ourselves from corruption. We will just talk about corruption, but we are too corrupt. I don't know why.
Yes.
Because you'll go to the auditor, you'll be like, mister, you've been doing my calculations. What's happening? You'll be like, these KRA guys and their rules. You can never be able to defeat them. Can you see the officer who is in charge and give something and then this thing will end? And everyone that is a taxpayer in this country knows. So what do we do to make sure that we reduce this vice or we remove this vice completely? One, why don't we have proper information? Proper information of exactly what the KRA man wants. Because, for example,
yes,
when you go to a driving school, you are told in Kenya, you should drive on the left, or on the right. Now, if you go to another country, they'll tell you this is a sign to drive.
Yes.
So if the policeman catches you on the other side, you will not say, I was not told. But in our country, KRA expects you to know what you should do, but they will never tell you. I am saying this because I have gone severally to the offices to ask
yourself, isn't
myself, here, how do we do it? They will tell you, go to that officer. The other officer, go to the other one. They'll never tell you anything.
Are you saying that you visited KRA, Irene?
Not once. And
said,
alone.
Tell me how I should do my books right.
Right, so that you don't follow me.
And you walked out without knowing anything about it.
Not 1 day, not 2 days.
So where do you feel the disconnect is, then, Irene? Is it right there, KRA?
I think the disconnect is on how our taxation system is structured.
Yes. To the point that even KRA themselves do not understand it.
Yeah, they don't understand, and they don't care to understand. Because what they learn from their college is that the taxpayer should pay.
Yes.
And they want to pay you as much as they can be able to squeeze out of you. They forget the business aspect, that if I kill this business, where will I get this money from tomorrow? And now, if you're dealing with people who don't understand that they are supposed to take care of your business to be there tomorrow, they also don't understand that when they give you a demand letter of money that is not payable, they have destabilized you mentally,
yes,
psychologically, emotionally, and at the end of the day, they are going to kill that business. And even if it does not die once, you will die gradually. And that's why you hear the last campaign, you heard things like weaponization of KRA. What is the vague thing that is causing KRA to be used as a weapon to fight people? And now me as a business person and the oil, fuel dealers that we are with, we are like, no, okay, for us there's no weaponization. But there's something like this. When the government wants money, they come to us.
Yes.
Definitely they'll look at our cash flows. They know if they squeeze you hard, you'll go take a loan. And sometimes the demands that they ask you, you cannot afford. You know, the sense of a human being that if I am coming, you owe me money. And then when you look at you, Simba, your net worth, let's say is 1 million. And I tell you, you owe me 2 million. This 1 million is what you have earned for the whole of your life. But maybe this 2 million I'm asking you is for 2 years. You know, it does not make any
It doesn't
business
make sense.
sense.
It doesn't.
But when you come to calculations, they'll bring their books.
Yes.
They'll calculate in whichever way. Another thing, you'll see like the other day, there's a business person that who is not a fuel dealer, it was on the magazine, that now the 17 billion demand is nullified. So you ask, what did you use to calculate to see 17 billion? So it means there is no proper system of coming up with these mathematics. I'll call them mathematics, because mathematics you should be able to know 1 + 1 is equals 2. But the mathematics of tax in this country, you don't know 1 plus which one, so that you get 2. So that when I come on the table, you say, here you did not pay, I'm able to see, surely here
Yes.
I did not pay. And that's why we are saying, let us have tax education that flows down to the grassroots level.
That is essentially directed to this independent oil
To
marketers,
our,
isn't it?
not only
Yeah.
independent, to our fuel sector,
Yes.
the oil sector, because even the other stations you see, Shell, Total, those people are franchised. They are people like me. They are franchised by Shell. They are franchised by Total. So when it comes to taxation, they pay on individual basis. They don't pay as Shell. They
Yes.
pay as them being them. And now this one we are saying, let us have taxmen that are industry-based. And we don't only want in fuel sector. Let it be to all the sectors. Because the reason why we are being squeezed as the fuel sector is because there are other sectors that don't pay. There are other people that don't pay. And when we just have these officers that will just sit in the offices, and they will look at the computer and see who is paying and say, this one, you've been paying 1,000, you need to pay 10,000. They are not coming to the ground, looking at the business people that are working there. They are not coming to listen to us. If we had someone in the KRA who is just for fuel and based in Nairobi West, they'll know how many petrol stations are there. Like how many liters can they be able to sell? How was business between the month of this to the month of this? So that when you come and say business in the month of this and we are not making any profits, they know.
Yes.
And they also be able to be passing and saying, how is your paying? So that when you tell them this amount of tax you're telling us to pay is too high, I'm not even breaking even, they can be able to know and take back the report.
Yes.
But now, because KRI is the policeman, and it will always treat us like criminals. And you're guilty until you prove yourself otherwise. You see, there's that big disconnect.
Yes.
That's why we are saying, certify auditors. Let me finish my year, pay my 30%. If I have paid, I have not paid right, ask the auditor. Let's not have the VAT on the retail level. Cut this money, let it be an advance tax. In fact, you'll be able to get more money than the money you're getting when it comes to the ground, because our market is capped.
And you're saying, it's not just VAT, because you also have to pay corporation tax.
Yeah.
Again, but, could you talk to me about that? When do you think corporation tax would make sense for the industry?
Now, everyone that has a company in the country has to pay corporation tax.
Yes.
Yeah? And corporation tax paying, it makes sense. We have to pay. But the way we are paying it is the way we want to know, because we have disallowed expenses and allowed expenses.
Yes.
We have also things like when you are building, you buy sand. I don't know if in your place they give you TR receipt. You buy stones. They don't give you TR receipt. Then you take that as an expense, and they say it is disallowed. In a real sense, it was an expense that was supposed to build the business that is making money for the government.
Yes.
You see those small discrepancies. And also another thing that our government should understand is that most of the times we go to do benchmarking. We do benchmarking in Britain, do in the US, then we come and bring those policies to our country. Business people, especially the independent dealers, most of them, they are just people who finished school. They did not go to college.
Yes.
They started a small business. They are growing gradually. They don't know those calculations of tax. And that's why we are saying also in our education system, let there be a proper teaching of taxes.
Yes.
In our universities, you'll just be taught the types of taxes, progressive tax, VAT. You'll not be told the tax laws in this country are A, B, C, D.
Yes.
So that when you go out as an accountant, you understand. They expect you to go and when you go for internship, maybe you are in the fuel industry, you go to Shell, you go to Total. That's when you'll know the taxes that you're supposed to pay. But how many chances do we have for that internship? So why doesn't the government bring people on the ground that will tell us, and also in schools, tell them this sector these are the laws. This sector, these are the laws. Or if you want to read the laws, they are here, here. Let it be incorporated in our school system. Because at the end of the day, every person in this country, if they're in class 1 today, one day they will pay tax. It's a must. So they should come out knowing the taxes I'm supposed to pay is this, income tax is this, VAT is this. This is how it is paid in our country. It is administered like this. The reason why many people are refusing to pay, and many people don't pay, they will do their things in cash. Why don't they pay? It's because they don't know the amount of money they're supposed to pay. So you say, instead of entering the system of KRA, let me just disappear. Then you'll find KRA, what do? Instead of going on the ground and saying, we have 3 hardwares here, we have 2 petrol stations here, we have 2 hotels here, they will look at the amount of meters you have, electricity meters. So you'll find the people that have houses, they will put one, you take the meter, because the proper system is coming on the ground, so that the person that is paying does not overpay. And the person that is paying, not paying, should know how to pay, so that all of us pay. This one will reduce our taxes and we'll have enough money.
Yes. Now, let me just go to another area as well that you've been on not speaking about as well. I said that indeed, we've seen giant multinational oil marketers in the country that have sort of disregarded the regulations on profit margins. And that's a conversation that came up the other day. And I'll be very blunt, just not to say the name. When we see the government set up these particular prices, we've seen a couple of them sell at a huge discount. Some, they've been or not, selling up to discounts of 3 shillings in the market. Is that unfair to an independent oil marketer then trying to also make a margin within that as well, when a multinational who knows they have a huge volume and they can actually attract more business by reducing the profits they're making, is that them trying to push you out of the market by disregarding these profit margins that are set by the government?
I'll not say that per se.
Yes.
Because this is a free economy.
Yes.
And everyone is doing their best to sell their business.
In a capped business, would you say that?
In a capped business, if we would only have the wholesale cap,
yes,
where the wholesaler cannot go beyond a certain margin, then we will be having a place to play. And that's why I said in the beginning, when we have things like subsidies,
yes,
these multinationals tell you, I cannot subsidize for the government and subsidize for a business person, which makes sense. So who is to blame? It's the policies that our government is making. They are not considering that we are there.
Yes.
But when we come to the market, we are competing. They will compete as their volumes. They will do the economies of scale. We'll also compete on our level. Maybe we will reduce the amount of money. Their structures are bigger structures, our structures are small structures. So we are all looking for a competitive edge. But because it is a controlled market, let the government always look at every policy before passing it. And therefore, I have no problem with them giving discounts, because we also, when we are making money, we give discounts to our clients. But then, how does the government make it in such a way that the big players don't have advantage over us?
Yes. Pretty much. Let's go to another area as well. Here's the thing. They're saying that the other charges that the independent oil marketers in the country might not actually be having as well, because there's something like capital charge, health, safety, environment and quality charge, digital charge, research and development training and assistance charge, that are not essentially favorable to your business. Could you talk to me about these charges? Do you identify them as independent oil marketers in the country? And if so, why would they not be good for business?
No, we don't. But you know, some of the things like safety and environmental safety, NEMA, we pay so many licenses. And that's why we are asking for the survey of the cost of selling fuel, so that when we are given a margin of 4 shillings, you also know the cost of production.
That there are other charges than that follow, despite the margin, isn't it?
Despite the margins. Yes. Because you pay for NEMA, you pay for occupational safety,
yes,
you pay for the county government, you pay so many, and then now you're paying for your employees, you're paying payee, you're paying NHIF, NSSF. At the end of the day, the margins that you remain with, they are just enough to survive. And that's why, Mr. Simba, if you look at most of the independent dealers, because the independent dealers, you'll also know them by their names, yeah? You know the multinationals. You see today it was Simba's petrol station. Tomorrow you find it somebody else. The other day they are not even selling. It keeps changing. One, because most of them, you operate in high margins, high volumes of money, high turnover. You're just seeing money on your hands. You're just turning over money. But if you're not careful, you can really close. Because this money at the end of the day, when you calculate, at the end of there, when you do your balancing, you might get what you're getting home is too minimal. And then you look at the risk. You know, when it is high turnover, there's also the risk.
Yes.
When there are thugs in your village, where do they start? With the petrol station.
Go to the petrol
because
station,
these are the people that have the money. So the risk is too high. Go to the bank, you're paying interest. If you make a transaction today, every transaction you make, you're paying the money. The bigger the amount of money, the transactions are bigger. So there are so many hidden costs that we pay that the market, that the government should look at when they are giving us margins. And when we hear them that they want to reduce the margins, we wonder in which market. They should look at our margins so that we can be able to survive in the economy and give the much needed competition. Because when there is no competition, then these prices, even if they are going to be set, now they are going to be set for a few people who can be able to dictate the prices. Yeah.
So we're starting 2023. There's been a conversation that has existed within the economy for as far as we know. After, we'll take it back. Somebody was telling me they take it back to immediately after Mwai Kibaki. That's when this conversation of independent oil marketers crying about their margins in the economy started really coming to the fore. We're starting 2023. And we're looking at it, we're saying, well, with an investment of 1.7 million, I mean, taking home 10,000, it's, for somebody looking at it, will be like, wow, it doesn't make sense. That's not a very good business to go into. But then it doesn't make sense again because we know that the economy runs on fuel. So it doesn't make sense again that you're not making really much money out of this business. So we're starting 2023. I know you're working with other umbrella associations as well. What is going to be your strategy? Because something is going to be done by the end of the day. And in that strategy, who are you really speaking to in that strategy that you're going to push on in 2023?
Number one, we are speaking to the legislators. We took them there so that they can look at our issues as the citizens.
Yes, and I'm sorry to say also, Irene, do you believe that that's going to be an agenda for them? In all this time that you've been pushing, do you believe the majority of them have been looking at this, or it's when you want them to start looking at it?
They've been looking at it because we have made much noise, and they are going to look at it because they know it's an area of interest. I believe the people that we have taken to that house are learned people, and they know what fuel means to every economy. And mismanagement of our fuel industry is costing us a lot, a lot. Why? Apart from being now a business person in that industry, if we don't manage this industry well, it will cause our economy to always go bad. Cost of production is high. We cannot attract foreign investors. Taxation, if we don't look at the way taxation is administered, which foreign country will want to work here? If we kill our very people that are bringing back this money, what will happen to the jobs that those people are giving out? So these are areas that they must be looked at. Yeah? Right now, why do we have a problem with the dollar? Is because of the balance of payment. What are we exporting and what are we importing?
Yes.
We are importing a lot of fuel, which is very costly. So we need many dollars to bring in that fuel. What are we exporting? If we don't look at those things, then the fuel industry will always cry. So this is something that is affecting the whole economy and should be a conversation of everyone if we are going to bring our economy back on track.
Yes.
And this is not some place that people should be playing around with. Because when there are these hulabalos, of course there are people who make money. But we as independent dealers, we want to be here tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. And therefore we want these things streamlined well so that we can also be able to survive. Let the parliament look at it. Let it talk to the stakeholders, us included. And then let them come up with their report and see what is workable so that we can be able to build our economy.
Pretty much. Somebody asked this question, and I'm going to put it to you as well. Do you envision you championing If the government is quite adamant that you gotta pay these taxes, you gotta pay all these charges, you gotta pay to NEMA, you gotta pay to the county government, you gotta pay your VAT and corporation tax, do you envision then a scenario where the government will be reviewing the cost of fuel for both the consumers' sake and for the business sake, a bi-monthly review? Do you think, because that has been already championed some time back, by the way, by even some independent oil marketers in the country, were saying, well, if you can't then cut back on these taxes, review it twice, so that when it goes bad, we don't take the pain throughout for the entire month, and when it goes good, we can get to recoup some of these investments that we've seen go down the drain when the market is not really that stable. Do you think we can start from that?
I think what they were not talking about is not cutting back the taxes, it's about the margins.
Yes.
They cannot increase the margins. Remember, our fuel is very expensive because we pay taxes that are about a half. The cost is a half of what we pay.
Yes.
The rest is the taxes and the levies we pay. Okay. Now, according to the way our economy is, it might be difficult to remove those ones.
Yes.
But now when it comes to margins, because I said in the beginning, our market is very volatile and we are capped. What they were saying is right. If we can have more frequent periods of revising the prices, it can be good for us, it can be good for the consumer. Because sometimes the prices will go down in the middle of the month, which is also very rare. And sometimes, most of the times, the prices will go up in the middle of the month. So if we can do it twice, because this year of 2022, every time we are approaching 14th, from 1st to 14th, we make no money.
Yes.
There are speculations, prices will go up, the national market is going like this. These are the periods that we make no money at all. So you'll find that when they say 14th, we make no money again for the first 1 week, we make money for 1 week, and then we start the cycle again. It's been like that for the last 1 year. Then why don't they review it maybe twice a year, so that all of us can take advantage of the market situation and make our money, and the consumer also gets advantage when the prices are low. And when they go up, the consumer also pays, because we are the ones that are in the middle. We are the ones that are cushioning now this economy. And the government is saying, we are trying to sustain the prices for you. We are in the middle there, being squeezed, but also trying now to feed the economy with fuel.
Pretty much. Irene, in 15 seconds, that's exactly what we have left. What margin would be healthy for an independent oil marketer? Let's clear it like that. In 15 seconds, what margin would be healthy?
When we were given these 4 shillings, we were selling diesel at 70 shillings. Today, we are selling at 170. So I would say the market chain gives us 12 shillings. 24 shillings would do, because the working capital has gone double.
Irene, thank you very much for coming. Guess what? We'll keep on talking about this.
Thank you.
2023 is just starting. So we're going to get into conversations like this, because we do know the energy sector, especially the fuel subsector in that particular sector, is one that carries the economy. In conversation with Irene Kimathi, really on issues that need addressing within that particular fuel industry. I mean, well, we can't get done with it. Even if you're given 2 hours, there's so many areas. So if anybody is listening, and for all those who've been sending in questions about, I want to start that business, it's kind of time for you to think twice, because according to Irene, I mean, when you invest in 1.7 million and you take home 10,000, woof, just a turnover business, not a profit margin business. Thank you very much for watching. And I know those questions will come in at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. I am at Kiage Simba. I promise she'll be back again, so we can get talking about this particular issues. Thank you very much for watching. I'll meet you again for another episode. Goodbye for now. Yeah, at least today we had time. Yeah.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region.